Okay, we should be live on YouTube Nudge.
All right, I'm still waiting for my. So if I type the chat here, chat with everyone in the studio, they will see me.
Yeah, so you're in the studio as well, right, Nudge? Or do you just see the stream? Like, I don't know what you're looking at, but I have a little thing on my side here. So as long as they leave comments on the YouTube video, we will get uh we will see it here, and then I can share it, um, on the live stream, and then we can go dissect the question, etc.
I can see this.
Yep. So that should be it. We
Where
should
is
be
the
live.
comment area? They need to like.
The comment area is it should be on. Oh, if you're on the UniMap page, there's no comment area there. If they go to the YouTube video, they can comment underneath.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So they need
So
to
I'll do a
go.
whole explanation later for the students. Like once they're in, I see there are 15 students here. Hi guys. We'll probably wait another 5-10 minutes. Just let your other friends join, and then we'll kickstart it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, there's about 23 people watching now. You said you have
Mhm.
some video that you want to
Yep, yep. So I'll just throw that up
you
here.
in the loop. Mm.
Yeah, it's just a and Andrew back.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a bit of delay, I think, from the YouTube. From
Yeah, I mean, usually it's a few second delay. That's can't help that.
I'm seeing some of the students are confused that usually they get on Google Meet and then they when they click on the link is a YouTube link. So that's why there's only like 23 coming in. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
uh, put it in the group Telegram group saying that you need to get on that. Okay,
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much.
right.
Yeah. So the reason we like to do it on YouTube as well is because the moment it's done, it straight away gets uploaded. So then even if when they're done, they want to check back or anything, the video's there already. Like, it's very seamless when we do it on YouTube. Which faculty is this, Nudge? Because it's like as we
Uh,
talk, it's different faculty, right?
Electronic Engineering,
Electronic engineering.
FT Ken, Fakulti Teknologi Kejuruteraan Elektronik.
Ah,
So they can ask question by
giving a comment on the YouTube video.
comment. How do you do that?
So
Do you need to subscribe first to put in the comment? I
no,
can
no, absolutely don't have to subscribe or anything on
share
the
this
video.
slide report.
Yeah, just give me a second and I will screen share and show.
Where's the comment part? I didn't see the comment part.
Yeah, it should be right on the side. On the side there's a chat box. So you can just say anything you want in the chat.
There's about 46 people watching now.
Yeah.
Is it because I'm seeing this in my through my smartphone that is not showing the comment? I'm not sure. On the right hand side, you say?
Yeah, on the right there's usually a little box where you can leave a chat. On your phone sometimes it's underneath or on the side.
Hmm.
So if you just if anyone's on your computer, you see the chat box on the side. Say hi, say good morning. Hope you guys are doing well.
Okay.
If you're on your phone, let me get this on my phone then and then I can show you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see you guys are leaving comments already. Good morning, guys. Hope you guys are doing well.
So they have to click on YouTube, right?
Yep. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
your yeah on your
On my
phone, it should be
laptop, I
right
can see.
there, Nudge. Yeah.
They have to click on YouTube, right?
Yep. Yep. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
your
On my
phone, it should be
laptop, I
right
can see.
there, Nudge. Yeah.
They have to click on YouTube, right?
Yep. Yep. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
your
On
phone,
my
it should be
laptop, I
right
can see.
there, Nudge. All right. So there's about 50 of them in right now. I think you can do the introduction, Nudge. We can jump into it. It's 9:08 already. I'm sure you have your something to go for as well. There's about 50 of them in right now. I think you can do the introduction. Nudge, just mute your phone. So you have your something to go for as well. There's about 50 of them in right now. I think you can do the introduction. Nudge, just mute your phone. So you have your something to go for as well. There's about 50 of them in right now. I think you can do the introduction. Nudge, just mute your phone. So you have your all right, perfect.
All right. I think it's echo just now
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I
because
think
of
we
the
almost
delay.
have about yeah, happens, no worries. It's about
So we
60
have
of them. I think
almost.
we can kickstart it already.
All right. Okay. Uh, Assalamualaikum. A very good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to all the students that has joined in our webinar on YouTube. And this morning, I would like to thank you to the final year project committee member that has actually allow us to use the slot for final year project slot to actually explain about a bit on the career development or career advancement for all the UniMap students, especially for the final year students. So for final year students, I would like to congratulate you that in 3 to 4 months' time, you will be graduating, and you will be out there, um, joining the industry. And for us, being a technical university, I believe it will be more on the manufacturing and all the companies and on the northern side usually is in Penang, is in Kulim, High Tech Park area, and Sungai Petani also there's a small medium industry area on the northern side. But of course, we want to market our students globally. As students in your final year, I know that some of you have been here in Perlis for almost 3 years, 4 years, or even more than that if you did your diploma here in UniMap and then further your studies in doing your degree. So Perlis, there's a lot to offer, and for your information, graduate employability for UniMap for 2021 cohort, that means your senior last year, last batch, the graduate employability percentage is 93.9%. Okay, and that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, thank you, Tarma. That's not bad because that is among all the other 20 public universities, and also we have more than 100 private universities in Malaysia. So being at the 93.9% GE, it is considered as very good. So what does it translate? It translates that our students, all of you actually, in a good program, you are accepted by the industry, that our program are relevant and current to the scenario of employability out there. So you need so 90. So what we want is 100%, of course, right? So today we want to ensure that all of you out there who wants to land a dream job, all right? You dream of a job. You need to market yourself. You need to have a way on how to ensure that you are marketable out there. You are wanted by the industry. And I think the talk today will look at the tools, look at the things that you need to enhance yourself so that you're out there. In UniMap itself, we have around 3,000 students per cohort or per batch that graduate every year. But bear in mind, telling you that there's 20 other public universities and also 100 over private universities, employability every year is close to 100,000, right? Imagine when I say public university, I'm talking about UKM, UPM, UTM, USM, UMP, UITM. So public universities alone, close to 70 to 60,000 students. Because for UniMap 3,000, but imagine UITM, they have almost 40,000 graduates because they have the HQ in KL or in Shah Alam. They also have all the branches in all the states. So that's why they have about 40,000 graduates per year. So when there's so many graduates, of course, there's a lot of competitions. So that's why you need to market out yourself out there. You need to be somewhere where you can be seen and visible. All right? In the scenario of industry, let me ask you, in a company, what makes a company great? What makes an industry great? Great in terms of, they are up there, they are the top 10 Fortune 5, in the Fortune company. Number one, of course, no, number one. One of the criteria is to have a good product or a good service. So if you have a good product, relevant product, or your services is good service that you're giving to the public, to the people, then your company will excel. But in order for the company to excel, right, the one thing that you need to have is the people that runs it. Even you have a factory, you need to have, apart from the machine alone won't do it. You need the people to run it. You need the administrator, you need the executive, you need to make the decision. You need to have the board of directors to actually create a direction of the company. So the people is important. Who will be the people? You are the one. The students of UniMap, you are the one that will be in the industry, in the company, to make it great. All right. So I hope I've put in the directions now that all of you, all the UniMap students, you are important. You need to market yourself because data shows that students of UMAP are marketable. The employability is very high, but that doesn't mean that you just need to sit there and say that I'm UniMap, then people will grab you. No, you need to market yourself because there's still at 93.9%, there's still 6.1% that doesn't land any job. So I don't want you to be one of that percentage. I want you to be on the majority of the percentage. And you need to do something. You can't just sit there and say, hey, I'm UniMap, please take me. But there's ways to do it. And today I would like to introduce to you Mr. Tarma from Prospel. Good morning, Mr. Tarma.
Morning, Nudge. Thank you so much for the introduction. Great speech. I think some extremely key points there.
All right, Tarma is from Prospel. UniMap and Prospel has signed an MOU, I think, somewhere last year. And Prospel is a company that is based in Australia, correct, Tarma?
Yep.
And they have a branch here in UniMap. They have a company created a branch here in Malaysia, and it's considered as a multinational company. And I believe they can actually assist us and help us, especially the students, especially all of you, the final year students, to land your dream job. That's what it is today. So I would like again hand it into Mr. Tarma. Give all ears to him, and if you have any comment or any question, please do so. I think Tarma will tell you how to communicate in this seminar or this webinar. And I wish you all the best. And please take this opportunity. And I want all of you to be successful in your future and land your future dream job. Thank you very much. And Tarma, I leave it to you.
Thank you, Nudge. Hi, guys. Hope you're all having a wonderful morning. So, as Nudge said, I'm Tarma. I'm from Prosple. I've been working here for, well, we can round it up. We can say it's about a year, maybe a little bit less. And Prosple it's something special. So, just to give you guys a little bit of context, when I left university and I was looking for a job, it was it wasn't difficult per se, but it was confusing. It was daunting. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't do a degree that was specialized by any means. The degree I did was general. I did a degree in economics and another thing, development studies. So when you go into the job market doing something like that, it's not something like medicine, right? Like you don't just go become a doctor. With an econs degree, you can do lots of things. You yourself, options are wide, but when options are wide, that's when you got to put pedal to the metal. You got to apply. So I was applying in and out. Obviously, I did start by doing something I wanted to do. I started by doing, what not to say wanted to do, but something that was very close to my degree. So I started off at an investment bank. I was an investment banker, and it was great. Like the learning experience was wonderful, and I'll get more into the details of trade-offs and what we got to look for when we go and out there and look for a job as a university grad. But as much as I learned a lot of things, it was horrible for me personally, right? In terms of my work life balance, what I wanted to do, it didn't really align with what I wanted to be very much, but it was close to my degree. And there wasn't anyone actually giving me the advice. There was plenty of people telling me to go apply for jobs, and I was lucky to, get a few opportunities come my way, but nothing in terms of like, oh, this is like going to set me up for a career that's stable, that's going to give me growth, that's going to show me what I want to do in the next few years, and it's aligned with who I am as a person. I know a lot of people will tell you those are fantasies, right? Like if you're looking for a job, just take whatever comes your way because it's tough to get a job now. But I'm here to tell you that you can kind of have it all. You can kind of have a job out of university that gives you what you want, be it work-life balance, be it time to go do the things that you want to do, have a side project, be it um, you know the career growth you want, that's nice and laid out for you, so you can see that okay, as long as I keep performing and hitting my KPIs, I'll get this performance, I'll get this bonus, etc. All those things exist, It's just you got to go out there and you got to look for it. Um, and yeah, this is one thing that Prosper does. When I joined Prosper, uh, one of the things that really hit me and made me want to take this job was that's what we do more than anything else. We help university students find jobs, but it's not just like the street, right? I'm not just giving you a job. I help you find a job that's best fit to what you want to do as a university student. And I love that, right? Because I'm not just throwing you to the deep end. I'm not just sending you out like, okay, here's a graduate program or here's a role that graduates can do. I'm going to try our best to get you a job or show you the jobs that, you know, are best fit to your skill set, most aligned with you, so that you can have that stable career growth. So the biggest problem we see with graduates specifically is this thing called course correction. You start a job, work there for 6 months or 8 months or a year, and then you leave, and then you go join another job, and you're there for 6 months or 8 months or a year, and then you leave. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the first thing I want to tell you guys. I don't think like this whole thing about having to work a job for year or 2 years, if you're suffering, I don't believe in that at all. I think, if you're working 3 months and you hate it already, that's probably a good reason. So sit down and have that conversation with yourself. Why do you not like this job? And start looking for another opportunity so that you're not miserable. That's the one thing that I truly believe in, that you don't have to be miserable in any job that you're working. It should actually help you become a better person. But like I said, right, this course correction thing, what we've seen is most graduates end up going through it for about 2 years, and then they end up finding a job that's actually fit to them, and then they start their career growth. They end up finding maybe an industry, that's kind of aligned with them. They kind of find a company that's aligned with them in terms of like culture, etc., and then they start the process of applying and getting into those jobs. This takes 2.5 years, sometimes even 3 years, and that's a long time. That's a lot of time that you've just used up. uh, you know. So Prosper's whole thing is we want to basically stop that. We want to get you into a career, an industry, a company that is actually going to give you that growth the moment you join it from the beginning. That's the main goal on Prosper's end. Anything we do is to help you achieve that, is to help you give you that head start essentially. So that's kind of like the very gist summary of what Prosper is. If you guys have any questions at any time during the seminar, regardless of what I'm saying, by all means, to just throw it in the comment box. I will look through it constantly. If it can wait to the end, I'll try and answer all the questions at the end. If I do think it's extremely relevant and maybe it really adds to the discussion, I'll probably answer it on the spot and we'll carry it from there. But yeah, that's the first thing, right? This is an open discussion more than anything else. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to give you the context that you can't get from other places. So we work with tons of companies, we work with tons of MNCs, tons of local companies. So the kind of insight that we have is way different compared to you just talking to like a hiring manager from a company, from a specific company. We talk to hiring managers from all the companies, so we kind of know like what's up and what's happening everywhere. So I'm more than happy to give you the context and answer your questions so that you guys can be more informed. And that's really it, right? When it comes to applying for jobs, when it comes to finding anything, it's really about being informed. If you have the right context, the right questions answered, you'll probably be a standout graduate because you'll know what to do more than anyone else. So let's just jump into it. Everybody's my screen, right? It's up. Right, it's gonna take a while, but yeah, I guess I'll just jump into it. So Great Basics workshops, job search, strategies, thinking outside the box. What can you do to be a standout graduate, a standout candidate, in this job market? So a little bit of context. I'm Tarma. You guys can just call me Tarma. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Development Studies in SOAS, the university in London. Um, and that's an interesting kind of degree combination, right? So fun fact, I actually went to England to do law, and then I did year of law, and I was like, this is the not for me at all. Like I did not like it, so ended up changing degrees, ended up doing econs. That's something I've always been very passionate about. And development studies was something I literally found out about at university. Prior to joining university, I had no idea what it was, but it really piqued my interest. It's a combination of anthropology, sociology, and psychology as one subject. You kind of learn how all these things affect, like countries essentially. And yeah, I just threw it together. I was like, this makes complete sense. Like, I'm doing economics, I'll probably do this. And when I left university, the first piece of advice that most people gave me was, you should probably not put that in your CV. You should probably just put I did economics. But I didn't listen to anyone. I was like, no, I this is my degree. This is what I did. And if someone's not gonna hire me because of they think that this part of my degree diluted this part of my degree, that's definitely not the case, and I probably wouldn't want to work for a company like that. So that's the first thing I'm going to give you, right? The first piece of advice I'm going to tell you is follow your gut. If you don't put the truest image of yourself out there, if you put an image that is, you know, synthesized or basically 50% of yourself, and that's the person that the hiring manager knows, that's what you're going to have to be every day at the job, and that's going to be extremely draining. You can't show up to work as yourself. And as much as people like to not admit it, we spend a lot of time at work. A big part of life is work. Going to your job every day, like it or not, the minimum amount of time you're going to spend at a job is like 8 hours a day. Um, and that's definitely somewhere you want to be yourself at. You don't have, obviously, like, maybe not your truest 100% self, but if you can get anywhere that is 80%, you know what I mean? You can show up and you can be comfortable in your skin. That's a really good positive sign. And that's definitely somewhere you can grow in. Or at least in the meanwhile, you can be comfortable in. And that's something that's so important. So I'm a partnership manager in Prosple. I handle Singapore, Malaysia, India, kind of dabble around. Like I said, this is not a job I ended up doing, and this is not a job that has anything to do with degree as well. So you know, fun fact, right? That's another thing that we see through all our studying of graduates and stuff. Most graduates don't end up doing something that's directly aligned to their degree, and that's okay. You know, the way the world works, the way jobs are, there are tons and tons and tons of jobs and industries out there that, as a university grad, you don't even know about yet, and that's fine. When I left university, I didn't even know something like Prosper existed. I thought, oh, okay, I'm an economist. I mean, I did econs. I should go and become an economist. But there are hardly any jobs out there to actually become an economist. It's very scarce. You probably have to end up working at Bank Negara, and that they don't have a lot of jobs. You know what I mean? And most of them go to their scholars anyway. In terms of graduate jobs. So that was the first wake up call I had. When I left university, I'm like, oh, okay, so yes, I'm probably not going to end up doing something directly aligned to my degree. The other degree I did, development studies, that also jobs even more scarce there, right? So that's the thing. That's the first conversation you got to have with yourself. What are the skills that you've taken with this degree? What are the general skills that you have built? And I'll get more in depth with this later on as well. I'll show you guys what you should be looking at specifically, what you should be highlighting in your CVs. But right now, if we just do a stock take, what are the skills that you've developed? What do you know from your degree? And that's not just like specialized information, right? I think um, Mr. Nudge told me that you guys are electronical engineers, and that's fantastic. I think the way the world is going, you're gonna have your pick of the litter when it comes to jobs, with the whole, the way the landscape of things are working and how we're so dependent on electronics and, what's the word I'm looking for, semiconductors, etc. I think you guys are shoe in, no problem. But you know, a lot of people, even if they end up doing what they do, you know, from their degree as a job, I know a lot of friends that are chemical engineers who got in work at petrol plants, for example, and then they ended up just not liking the job like 2 3 years down the road and ended up doing something completely different. What you end up doing as your job will never necessarily have to be what you did with a degree. There's no hiring manager or company worth its while it's gonna make you stay in that tunnel. If they see you have the potential to do something else, do it. They're gonna make you do it as well. And that's great, right? What are your passions outside of engineering? What can you see yourself working as outside of being an engineer? And look at those options as well. A job is a job is a job. You can work as anything, and as long as you're happy, as long as you see yourself prospering in that industry, as long as you can see yourself transferring those skills, that's really all that matters. You don't have to go and do specifically what you studied. What you studied is just, at the end of the day, it's just your degree. It's what you're passionate about as a student, as a learner, as an academic. But what you're going to work at, the thing you do day in and day out, that's a little bit more of a complicated conversation. And never ever tunnel vision yourself to just your degree. Never go like, oh, I must be an engineer. And if you want to give it a shot, that's another thing. If you want to give it a shot, by all means, do it. Go out there and apply your energy so you can find a job as an engineer and see what it's like to be an engineer. But if down the road, maybe a year later, 2 years later, you're like, this isn't for me, don't stay in that job. Don't force yourself to be there as well. Some people have this epiphany very early on. Some people have this epiphany during university itself. I have friends who did accounts as a degree, accounting and finance. As they were doing the degree, they're like, I never want to be an accountant. And they never touched accounting, right? They finished their degree, they did it. That's the piece of paper they have. It says they're qualified accountant, whatever. And now they're consultants. Now they are directors. Some of them are in advertising. You can really go anywhere you want. And the job world is like that as well. They'll take you in for any job as long as they can see you doing well in it. And you should never be afraid to apply outside of the box of your degree, more specifically. So that's a little about me. That's what I do. Um, so what we got for today. It's the most important things that we are going to tell you about in this seminar. Give me 1 second. Coffee, am I right? You guys drinkers? Don't think I can survive the morning without coffee. But yeah, what are we going to cover today? Basically, just a few things. And it's split into two parts mainly. So the first part is the seminar. Is I'll show you guys basically all this. Working out what job you're gonna love, what's the graduate job landscape like, what are employers looking for, basically how to do your CV. That's how to show employers you have the right skills, how to get your foot in the door. I'm going to talk about networking there and thinking outside the box. So that's essentially I kind of talked about that in the beginning, but we'll get more into that later on. But I really like to make that point early on because as a university student, and when I talk to university students, that's the most, the thing that I see the most. People are very siloed. People are always in the tunnel of like, oh, this is my degree, this is what I have to do. But that's usually not what happens. I think more than 80% of, don't quote me, but I say probably 80% of people who do degrees don't end up doing what they ended up studying. And that's fine because the job world is just so vast. You never know what you're going to get yourself into. So, what are you solving for, right? What are we looking for as a job, and what do we look for? So, what do you love doing? Do you love being an engineer? Do you love coding? Do you love software design? Whatever. Um, what are you good at? So, this is generally the trade-off we see here. What you love and what you're good at usually doesn't pay very much, unless, of course, you're one of those, you know, absolute merchants who can monetize their hobbies and they can sell it and they can do it. Then by all means, go for it. Other than that, it's what you love and what pays well. People say that's a dream, but I'll get a little bit more into this in a second. But I'd say it's only a dream, like on paper. But if you really look into it, it's just about being a little bit more practical. What you're good at and what pays well, that's usually rich and bored. And a conversation I had just last night with a friend actually was talking about how, when we look for jobs when we're working, it's mainly three things, right? How much time do I get? What's the work-life balance? How much am I getting paid? And am I going to learn anything? You know what I mean? And people think like, oh, I'm done with university. I'm done with learning. And that's really not the case. I think when you leave university, that's when the learning really accelerates. When you learn on the job, when you take all these random tasks that come your way and you have to excel and do well in it, with minimal guidance, the learning curve of any job is actually insane. And it's something that should really be taken to heart and something you should appreciate. Some people will say, I have friends that were in jobs where they did a lot of learning and then they complained and then they went into jobs that were, well, more mundane. And they complained again. They were like, oh, it's so boring. Oh, I don't know what to do here. Like, oh, it's the same thing every day. And that's when you realize, right? It's about finding a balance between all these things. You know, what you love pays well, what you're good at. You find a balance between that, and when I say what you love, I mean the things that you can do, you're passionate about. It's not necessarily like, oh, it has to be like your direct hobby. Like if you're into building airplanes, go and become like a model airplane builder as a job. I don't mean that. But if you have like certain things that you're passionate about, be it, as an engineer, maybe you're really passionate about a certain subset of engineering, or maybe you're not even passionate about that, right? It's something else, and you can see yourself applying the skills you learn as an engineer there. That can be what you love. And what pays well is relative as well, right? What think is pay, and as long as it makes you happy, that's the only thing that matters right now. If you think this is a way to support yourself, support people you love, it's going to give you a little bit of pocket money, give you money to save. You think that covers all the bases? That is good pay. But always do take the time to research, see what the market rate is like. Something me and my friends do is we are always extremely open with one another about the amount of money that we make as our jobs in terms of our base pay. And trust me, that's helped way more than you think. So, just among you and your close friends, if you guys are comfortable enough with each other and you trust each other and you can, say like, oh, this is, how much money I'm making, etc., it's going to help you so much when you go into those salary negotiations down the road. Me and my friends are very open about it, and it's a big group of us, and it's helped so much because we have this. Companies generally kind of don't want you to do that because every salary negotiation you have with an employer is pretty private, and it's not private as it has to be. It's just that the preference of the employer. On paper, there's nothing that stops anybody. There's no law that says you can't do it. And when you have the information, be it whether you got it online, whether your friends told you about it, it's gonna put you on the upper hand because right? What's the market rate? What are people making? What's the general graduate salary? At Prosper, we try our best to get employers to put the amount of money you're gonna make on the job application itself. Like we kind of are not big fans of you having to go through the interview and then only find out what you're going to make towards the end. We'd kind of like you to know about that in the beginning before you even apply, right? Because at the end of the day, that there's no hiding from it. We do work jobs for money, and it'd be nice to have that information. So, what pays well, what makes you happy, having the information that's really crucial, and it's going to help you just in reality when it comes to applying for a job you're good at. So, what skills do you have? What you want to do? How you can transfer the skills you've learned in your degree, how you transfer the skills you've learned in general into a job. Uh, and like I said, right, do a stock take, see what those skills are, have that conversation with yourself, write it down even, look at it on paper. And then you apply for a job, it's going to be really easy to look at jobs through this window of three and, find a little win for yourself. And as long as you're happy about it, as long as it hits those key, uh, you know, factors, you're gonna like that job. Trust me about it. Like, even if you get 30% of everything here that leads up to 90%, in total, you're gonna have a good time at that job. And as a graduate, obviously, like there's no perfect graduate job, but like I said, if you can do if you have the little processes and you look at that before you apply, you're in the money. You're gonna have a good time at your job, and that's really important, right? The first year, you're gonna learn a lot. You want to start making your network, and you want to see what skills you have. You really want to test yourself, and that's going to help set you up for success in totality. So what working out what you're going to love, self-awareness. So like I said, right, doing that stock take. So do you want to be comfortable or do you want to be challenged? And this is important, right? When I mean challenged, do you mean you want to feel comfortable and competent all the time, or do you want to be constantly out of your depth? So obviously depth. So that is the end of the spectrum. In the middle there is obviously somewhere where you feel comfortable some of the times, and then some of the times you're being challenged and you have to get new tasks and you don't have a lot of guidance. So these are the things that you got to look at. Do you want to be managed? Do you like it when there's a manager that's constantly, on your neck, basically telling you like, oh, do this, oh, do that? Or do you want full autonomy? Do you want to be trusted in totality? No micromanagement. Here's the task. Go and do it. Come back to me in a reasonable timeline. I'm not even going to tell you what the timeline is. Or do you think that's too free? Do you want something in the middle of that? And these are questions you can ask your manager. You can ask the person that's giving you the interviews and you're being hired, right? What's the culture like in terms of management? Is it um, you know relatively stringent, structured, or is there a lot of autonomy? Do you guys give me the ability to just sort of do my thing? And it's going to give you a better idea, right? You gotta have this conversation with yourself. What do you want? Do you like working from an office? Do you like working remotely? So, fun fact: I used to work in an office. I got a little taste of what it's like to work from home, and I never looked back. I wanted to work from home completely. I don't like the commute in the morning. I don't like, if I see that if it's the traffic's too bad, I have to take a train that's really packed in the morning. You actually save a lot of money not having to have lunch outside every day. And yeah, I do miss office environment. I think everyone should have a little taste of it in the beginning. So by all means, do go for it. But as you work, the longer you work, the more you realize what your preferences are. So I think this trade-off specifically, the working remote versus working in HQ, that's something you're really gonna have to work and know. But it's also something that's really important, right? Because some companies, some friends love their job and then switch to work from home. They love working from home and they gotta go back to the office. And even though they love this job before, they're not really having time because they're forced and they don't like the change and they hate sitting in traffic, you know. So you're gonna have to, like I said, right? It's all about having the conversation with yourself. Do you want to be specialized or do you want to be a generalist? And this is something you got to look at now, right? If you do a job that requires you to be specialized, you're gonna be specializing in this thing, and it's to some extent, unfortunately, the way into like people hire employees is once you become very specialized, they think, oh, this is all you can do. A good hiring manager will never say that. But what we're saying is like in general, we got to look at it on general level. People tend to be like, oh, okay, we specialize in this. This is what you've done, so this is all you can do. And a generalist, the problem is, oh, if you want to get into something specialized, you may have the skills. They're like, oh no, they've been doing very general things for life. They can't really jump on and do this. You obviously want to find a nice balance if that's what you want. Obviously, if you special by all means, there's job security in a very special way when it comes to being specialized because you're the only one that can do those things. The good thing of being a generalist is you can jump from job to job and no one can say anything. You can do your thing. You can explore new possibilities. You can see what other industries are like. So, you know, again, and it always comes back to this, right? So this is probably the last time I'm going to say it. Have the conversation with yourself. See what you want. You know, do you want to be a lone wolf? Do you want to be a team player? And this is also really important. I'm sure you already have a good idea of this being in university. Do you like doing group projects or do you like doing the assignments on your own? And this applies to jobs, right? Do you want to work in a team? Do you always want to be working with other people? Or do you just want to be like, okay, here is the financial report, go and do the modeling, come back to me when it's done, sort of person? Uh, and trust me, this is so important, right? Because if you don't like working in a team, then you're constantly getting put in team environments. It's going to be miserable for you. And you don't want to be that. So, again, ask your hiring manager, what's the workload like? Are we generally working in teams? Is it generally a solo situation? If it is a solo situation, how do I get managed? And you got to know these things, right? Don't just be like, oh, this is the how much I'm going to make. This is the benefits you get, and that's kind of the conversation you have. These are actually the more important things because it's actually going to impact like your day to day. Besides just the money you're making, you want to be analytical. Basically, you want to be surrounded by your numbers. You want to be like thinking you want to be creative. You want to be finding solutions for things. And different jobs require different skill sets. So you have to again look at the JD, ask your friends that if you have any friends that are working there, ask the hiring manager. Generally on a day to day, how do we tackle our tasks or what kind of tasks do we have? And by that alone, you pretty much know what type of work is going to be. And last but not least, do you want a financial reward? Is that what you're in it for? Do you want that big bonus at the end of the day? Do you want an insane sort of commission package, when you sell things to clients, etc.? Or do you want to make a big social impact? And how important is this line, right? Do you want it to be a nice balance? Like, I'm making a decent amount of money, I get an okay bonus, but I'm doing all these great things for society in general, or you know, look, there's no shame, right? If you want to do your thing, if you want to make your money, if you want to get your bonus, that's also really important because you got to take care of yourself, you got to take care of your family. So just think about it and see what exactly you want to do. You can do a personality test at this principlesu.com. I'll just drop the link for you guys in the chat so you guys can go over. After the talk, you can go and do a personality test and it'll give you a better idea of what you're looking for. So that's in terms of the self-awareness test I was saying. These are really important things that you really got to introspect, look inside yourself and see what you care about. And it's really going to help you look for a better job that's more fit to you. And that's really important at the end of the day, right? If it's fit to you, you're going to prosper in that job, you're going to do well. You're basically setting yourself up for success in the long run. It's not just today I'm working this job. You may think that, oh, I can be miserable in a job and I can still do well, maybe, but you're not in the long run, because it's going to eat you up from the inside, and eventually everything catches up to you. Don't believe you can run away from things forever. So if you look at these things now, they may be hard, and it may be boring even to look at this and see like what you care about, but it's gonna help you make and find a job that's best fit to you. So set the scene now, right? People say kind of scary graphs for university students to see. This is a specific graph about Australia, but what I can tell you is this is pretty much the trend all around the world. So, what's the percentage of people aged 15 to 64 with a bachelor degree or above? Basically, you guys are all doing bachelors right now. Some of you all may be doing masters. But yeah, as you can see, from 1990 it was pretty low. We were like touching the 10%, but this is a steady increase. Maybe it's not as steep as it is in other countries. I can tell you, I've seen the graph in other countries. It's much more steeper. It's pretty much going up like that. But as you can see in Australia, it's a nice steady increase, and it looks to be constantly going up all the time. That there seems to be no dip, doesn't seem to be stopping. And why is it important, right? That means the peers that are going out to look for a job are also equipped with the same level of qualification as you, right? A degree isn't as special as it was maybe 20 years ago. Wild, right? 1990 was 20 years ago. Maybe it's wild for me. You guys are pretty much a lot younger. uh, and also, what's the percentage of A grades being awarded, at 4-year US colleges? Basically, like this is the equivalent to us doing a bachelor's degree in Malaysia. Uh, that's also increasing. So it's not just most students are leaving university with a degree, or most students are joining the job market with a bachelor's degree. Those students are also a lot more higher qualified than people that had degrees before this, because they're doing much better in their degrees as well. Now, people say it's scary, but let's dissect this. Let's see what it's really like on the ground. So, with graduate employment in general, out of surveying 105 leading MNCs in Australia, the average graduate position has 42 applicants per position. So at any given time, in average, in general, you'll probably be competing with, including you'll probably be competing with 41 other applicants. And I say, usually the bigger the company, obviously you look at like a graduate program at PwC, for example, it's going to be a lot more. You look at a Petronas job, it's going to be a lot more than 42. But 41 in general. So at any given time, you're fighting 41 other people for one job. So what do the employers say, right? We speak to the employers, we get a good amount of insight from them. That's the kind of relationship process has with employers, and what they telling us. So we see that they have more degrees, see that they're better in their degrees, and see that there are tons of people applying for every job. But what do you assess during your recruitment process? How important are they in your selection decisions? So what are they assessing when they interview you? And how important are the things they assess? What's the ranking of that, right? So let's see. Number one, communication skills. You know, communication skills is assessed, as we can see, and it's very important. And this is not just career advice, this is just life advice. If you're good at communicating, it's gonna help you everywhere. Good communication is a big win everywhere, and whatever you do in your life, and it's something I definitely push for people to take the initiative in, and learn about, and really brush up on it. So companies are looking at your communication skills. They really care about it. Out of 100%, 87% say it's extremely important, and the other 13% say it's quite important. But there's nobody saying that they're not assessing it, and there's nobody saying that they don't care about it either. So being a big communicator is an extremely important thing. It's a big bonus that you can show companies that you have. Next, teamwork. 83% of companies say that this is assessed and extremely important. 14% say it's assessed and it's quite important. There's 3% that say, okay, we assess it, but we don't really care about it. And those jobs are probably very lone wolf jobs. You're probably doing your own thing, and that's fine. But as we can see, in general, teamwork is important, because even if you are doing lone wolf work, you still will end up working for a team. Even if you just have a manager, that's still a team. You guys are one unit. Your manager gives you tasks and you do it. You give it back to your manager. He probably presents it, etc. You're still a team. And teamwork is important. Being able to handle yourself in a team and learning how to manage a team, these are all things that are going to help you guys prosper in your career, and it's going to help you be a better employee to your colleagues, and it's going to help you be a better subordinate to your boss. It's all really, really important things. It's a really, really important skill, and there are many ways. Obviously, you can build, this, and we'll get into that later. Like we'll talk specifically about how you can build specific skills. But other than that, it's interpersonal skills. What's interpersonal skills? Basically, like communicating with your colleagues, how you present yourself, etc. So it's something like communication, but it's on a much more personal level. How you handle yourself in the office, you know. I guess for lack of a term, it's kind of like the vibe you're giving out, you know. And 73% of these employees say it's important, and they assess it. Another 25% say it's important, and it's quite important. So 70% say it's very important, 25% say it's quite important, and 2% say it's not so important. So as in the difference with teamwork is maybe more of them are saying it's quite important as opposed to very important, but less of them are saying it's not very important. So interpersonal skills are extremely important and something you should definitely uh, brush brush up on. It's something that's going to give you the upper hand, um, working in an office, and it's just going to help you have a better time when you're working in an office. It's just the day-to-day things, the social skills you need to be a good person, to be a good friend, good colleague, good everything, and just take some time to learn about it, right? Resilience, basically, what if a task given to you and it's tough, are you going to persevere through it, and are you going to like handle it regardless of what comes your way? How resilient are you? 49% say it's assessed and not very important. 39% say it's assessed and quite important. 2% say it's assessed but not very important, and 10% don't even assess it. Interesting, right? So as we can see, as this goes down, maybe skills become slightly less very important, but generally, as we can still see, it's relatively assessed. And as long as you're being assessed on it, you'd probably want to excel in it. But we're just giving you the sort of like insight to see like, oh, okay, we need these skills. And these are the skills you should be showcasing that you have. Um, there's no real sort of theoretical way you can build resilience other than just, going out there and doing the things that maybe you're not so comfortable with, and seeing if you can power through it. That's really the most important thing here. And the other skills that we'll just sort of breeze through very quickly is understanding of the organization. Basically, like, have you gone through the website? Do you see what they do, and do you understand what they do? As you can see, 30% say it's very important. 51% say it's quite important. 16% say it's not that important. 3% don't even assess it. I'd say this, right? It's always good to do your research, and it's always impressive when you go for an interview and you have this information at hand, and you can tell these interviewers like, oh yeah, this is what you do, right? Like you say it before they bring it up, right? Like, oh, I was really impressed by this project, etc. It just shows that you do your homework, and it's always a good thing to do. As much as it's kind of down this list, it's just impressive when you walk into an interview and you know what these people are doing, because it shows that you care, right? And that's essentially an interpersonal skill. Self-management, basically, like, can you manage yourself? If I give you a task and I leave you alone, how do you handle it? How do you present yourself, etc. 34% say it's very important. 44% say it's quite important. 11% say it's not very important. It's, yeah, not very important. And then 11%, so it's a pretty even split, so they don't even assess it. And that's fair. At jobs you probably get managed pretty directly, especially at that last 11%. But I'd say self-management is more of a you thing. If I feel like I'm not being self-managed, if I feel like I'm kind of srabo and all over the place, that affects me. So I like to be kind of prim and just sort of know what's going on, have my schedule. It just helps me be a better employee. It helps me perform better. So this is a very personal thing. At the end of the day, I still say it's pretty important, even though 11% don't assess it. As you can still see, to a large extent, it's all these things are still being assessed. Like, they still see whether you have it or not. It's always just good to have in the back pocket. Initiative and enterprise. Basically, if I give you a task and it's not very clear, are you going to take the initiative to go the extra mile? Are you going to take the initiative to learn the skill that you need to do it well? That's something that 35% are assessing and it's very important. 43% assess it. They say it's quite important. 10% say it's not very important at all, still being assessed on it, and 12% say they don't even care, and that's fine. Again, but other regardless of whether these skills are being assessed or not, always good to have. Everything on this list to me is extremely important, uh, and it's something that you should just be aware of. Emotional intelligence, basically, are you empathetic? Can you read the room? Are you going to say something that's not appropriate at a time that's not appropriate? you know I'm not, every company assesses all these things differently, but this right here, even though it's kind of down the list, to me personally, I'd say it's extremely important because it's just going to help you be a good colleague. It's going to help you be someone that's pleasant to be around. It's going to help you be a good friend even in your day-to-day life. And brushing up on your emotional intelligence, being empathetic, being able to see what people are going through and take initiative about their well-being, etc. That's just a good life skill to have, and it's something you should you know look at it and important as well. Planning and organizing, again, so something like self-management, but how planned are you, how organized are you? I'd say everyone has a different preference when it comes to this. Some people may look very messy, but they're actually very organized. It's in their own way. Some people may look very organized, but they don't have a handle on it. Find your balance, find what works for you, and just practice it. At the end of the day, regardless of how it's tested and assessed, if you show that whatever task is given to you is done, you're planned and organized. You know, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. Leadership. So I think it's hard to assess leadership, especially when you're going for a graduate job. But it's something that companies like to see because obviously, like when you get hired for any job, they're not just looking at to keep you for like a year. They want to keep you in for the long run. If you show that you have that leadership skill, it shows that you know you're going to have a future in this company. Maybe you can manage a team, or maybe you get promotion faster because they see like, oh, okay, he has it in you. 23% say it's important, 42% say it's quite important, 90% say it's not very important, and 15% don't even assess it. And that's completely fair because it's hard to see in the beginning, especially commercial awareness. How aware are you of the industry that you're applying for, the competitors, the products, etc.? Uh, and do you take initiative to even care about these things? As we can see, these last two things aren't even assessed very much. Technology, how well versed are you in technology? What skills do you have? Are you good at using a computer? I'm going to say generally all of you guys are, because you're just at that age. You were born around technology. Um, but yeah, just can you handle it? If I give you a task on a PC, you have to go do research, etc. Do you know how to do it? Again, hard to assess. You can only really see these things on the job. 18%, only 18% is very important. The rest is just kind of like is dwindling down, as you can see. But every single one of these skills, regardless of whether they are not assessed or whether they are not very important, they're definitely things that you should care about. They're definitely things that you should learn about, and yeah, take the time to see what's up essentially. And the last thing is, do you have relevant work experience? So I'm sure the whole time you're in university, people are telling you to get internships, and Prosper can help you with that. We have internships as well, but know that if you don't have the opportunity to go and do an internship that's directly related to what you want to do, it's okay. Doing anything is good because it shows that you've taken initiative, and it shows that you just want to see what it's like to work, etc. It's just going to help you, see what you like. But as we can see, only 8% is very important, and it dwindles down pretty quickly. 37% assess it, like they see whether you have it, but they don't even think it's important. And that's really the trend that we're trying to push a lot of these graduate jobs for. We're trying to show them that look, it's hard to get an opportunity before university. It's hard to get that relevant work experience. If you apply for a graduate job, it should be a fresh slate, and you should give them that fair shot. So don't be scared about it. Don't um give yourself a hard time. Just apply. That's the best thing I can give you. Whether you have the relevant work experience or not, as we can see, it's pretty down the list. So don't let anyone tell you like, oh, you didn't do this X thing. Don't even bother. Never ever believe that. Go and do it. Like go and do the thing that you think is important. And last but not least, so as we said, university grades. So as we can see, more people have degrees, more people are doing better in their degrees, but it's the last thing on this list. It's the only 11% say it's very important. 36% say it's quite important, 31% say it's not very important, 22% don't even assess you on your university grades. So even though there are more graduates that are getting A's in their degrees, there are more and more companies that aren't even looking at your degrees. They're like, oh, okay, you have a degree, and having a degree, basically having a degree, successfully completing a degree, basically says you have all these skills. You know, you can communicate, you can work in a team, you have interpersonal skills, you have friends, you're resilient, you got through university, you did this thing, you specialize in the thing. It shows that you can understand things deeply, shows that you have self-management because you had to like survive the whole 4 years, shows you have initiative because you took the time to finish this degree. That's what doing a degree essentially shows companies, right? That you took the time to develop all these other skills because you develop all these skills, whether you like it or not, through the process of doing your degree. But only 11% at the end of the day look at your grades. Now, doing well university is still important. I still like for me it was a self thing. Like I wanted to do well for me, and obviously there are benefits. If you do show like oh you did well university, and there are a lot of hiring managers that still ask you. A lot of my friends who didn't do as well in university still got asked in the interview, like, why did you not do well? What stopped you, etc. Maybe you have a good story, that shows like why you didn't do well. And it's vice versa, right? If you don't, you're just like, oh yeah, I was like hanging out with my friends, etc. That's not gonna look great on you. But don't let it psych you out. Don't let it tell yourself. Don't tell yourself like, oh, I didn't do well in my, university. I can't go and do X thing. Never ever say that. It's all about how you market yourself, like what Mr. Naj was saying in the beginning of this. It's all about putting yourself out there. And that's the biggest hurdle, right? Because that's most people stop. They don't even do that. So as long as you're willing to take the initiative to market yourself and put yourself out there, you're gonna have the upper end of the market. You're gonna have a shot. You're gonna have a chance. And that's all anyone ever needs to get what they want. So are these two shots scary right now? I don't think so. uh, you know, Even though people have degrees and even though people are doing well in their degrees, it's the thing that's being assessed the least. You know, even fun fact, like Google doesn't even have the requirement to have a degree to apply for jobs there anymore. As long as you can show them that you have X skills for whatever job that you're applying for, Google will look at your CV with the same amount of importance as someone who graduated from Harvard. So know that, right? Like it's all about how you market yourself. It's all about developing these other skills that we talked about, and it's all about showing that you have them. And it doesn't matter about this anymore. These two graphs are just graphs. They're just numbers on a piece of paper. So, of the skills you assess, which skills were your candidates most lacking in? So, out of all the things we talked about, when we talk to companies, what are the things that they're saying that the graduates lack the most? Number one is understanding of organization. Number two is commercial awareness. Oops, sorry about that. Relevant work experience, communication skills. So as you can see, more and more graduates getting better at communicating. Resilience, emotional intelligence, leadership. We talked about this just now, so I'm just going to breeze through it very quickly. But as we can see, these two things are things that they lack. And like I said, it's impressive, right? When you walk into an interview and you have these things, you can talk to them about it on a relatively deep level, not just like a basic level. So before you go into an interview, make sure you do the research. Make sure you don't just walk into the interview being like, oh yeah, I applied for this online. They've given me the interview set. No. Go to the websites, see, what they're marketing, see what they're doing, go and Google the companies, read the news about them, see what their competitors are doing. These are all things that are going to help you stand out in the interview. These are all things that are going to give you an advantage in the interview. So don't just look at it simply. Take the initiative and you'll stand out amongst those other 41 candidates that we were talking about just now. Everything else, just like I said, these are important skills to have, not just for your job, but in life, and they will help you. So take the time to look through this. And by the way, guys, when this talk is done, you can just go back to the Prosper YouTube and you can see these graphs again. So don't worry about it. But yeah, make sure you take the time to develop these skills and make sure you take the time to show that you have these skills, be it on your CV or be it during the interview. That's going to help you so much. So, how to show employees you have the right skills? What are employees looking for? Communication skills, teamwork, interpersonal skills. How can you demonstrate this? Well, take on a leadership role in university. Play a sport, join a student society. These are all things that show that you have all these skills, right? When you play a sport, you got to be resilient. You got to work in a team. You got to communicate. Be you got to pass the ball, etc. Or if you just work in a student society, you guys plan events. You guys, have goals that you achieve. Maybe you run a campaign, etc. And you got to use technology to promote these things. So it shows that look, you can do all these things, and this is just with one thing that you did. You can show that you did all these things. Go to casual work, freelance, go work at a part-time job, go work at Starbucks or something. It shows that you have all these skills, right? It's not an internship. It's not like, oh, I'm going to become an engineer at Petronas. I need to make sure I get an internship at Shell. Even just working a random job somewhere shows that you've developed these skills. You know what I mean? It shows that you can, you know, do these things, contribute to universities, clubs, and societies. Don't just join it, actually contribute, actually do things, stand out. Take a study abroad semester. Um, yeah, it's kind of hard to do this, and I say it requires a level of finance, etc. Not everybody has the opportunity to do it. If you do have the chance, grab it by the neck and go for it, because it shows that you can be independent, you can be out there on your own. But by all means, don't pressure yourself to go and do it. It comes and it goes. Where if you're doing just a degree, go and work for a few years and then go apply for something like Chevron. That's a scholarship that is given by the British Council, and it's to do masters. The only criteria is when you're done, you got to come back to Malaysia. So yeah, don't let anything hold you back. If you don't have the opportunity now, you can definitely get the opportunity later on in your life. So just keep at it. You know what I mean? Take on roles in sporting organizations and teams. So, like I said, don't just join a sporting team, don't just join a club. Take on a role, be it president, be captain, etc. Because it shows that you stand out. It shows that you can manage a team. Have unique hobbies and interests, and really explore those hobbies and be passionate about those hobbies. When you go for a um, interview, actually talk to them about it. Oh, like I play golf. I love golf. I do all these things about golf. I learned how to play golf on my own. I learned how to, the differences between all the equipment on my own. I built a set on my own. I do it cheaply. That's literally is showing interest and passion, and it shows that you have all these skills to do a specific thing to its highest extent, all on your own. Volunteer, do fundraising. So you don't have a chance to join a society or club, go and volunteer. Go and join something like Rotaract. Go and help out at a charity, etc. And it just shows that you have that ability to showcase all these skills, and you care. I think that's really the main important thing that comes through any of this. It just shows that you care. Launch a small business. So after all of this, if you don't have the chance at all of this, maybe just do your own thing. Sell fidget spinners on Shopee. Just literally like do anything you want. It doesn't have to be a successful business, but just doing it shows that you've taken the initiative to do something on your own, and excel in it. Take a short course to gain a micro credential. So you can go to something like Coursera, even Prosple, but we're doing micro credentials soon. So what I mean by a micro credential, I'm sure you guys are like, oh, what is this? It's like a course that's very specific to a very specific thing, and you get a little certificate at the end. So that shows that you did it, and you're certified in to some extent. So go and do all these short courses that tons and tons online, and they're all free. And be it open learning or Coursera or edX, tons of micro credential courses that you can do. Even the paid ones that they say you got to pay for, you can do them for free. Just apply to audit the course. So you do all the work and etc. You just don't get a grade at the end, but you can still show that you did it, and that's really all that really matters at the end. And take any opportunity to practice public speaking, and I really mean this, guys. Be it joining Toastmasters, uh, collaborate, with your friends, like do something in uni, like promote something. The best thing I ever did that has helped me from now was joining debate. I joined debate in high school. I joined at the end of high school, and I debated all throughout university, and it is the single thing that has helped me the most, because I can jump on and I can talk for hours. I can get into meetings and I can contribute, and it's all very quick. It comes to me very quickly because I honed those skills as a debater. Other activities will give you the same ability to develop this. Debate is just one example, but find that thing that gives you the ability to practice. Be a public speaker, be comfortable speaking to crowds, be comfortable speaking in front of people, be comfortable sharing your ideas in front of people. Don't be afraid to do that. and it's gonna make you an extremely standout candidate. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let the fear of public speaking, don't let the fear of sounding not smart stop you from sharing. Always take the opportunity, grab it by the neck, and develop the skill because it's so important. Just being able, I've gotten jobs just because I've been like, oh yeah, I'm comfortable talking to people, I'm comfortable talking to executives or whatever. Like, yeah, I'm not afraid. Trust me, you will stand out. And last but not least, just about all these things, just take on responsibility, show initiative, be an interesting person with depth of character, and pass the airport test. Basically, like if you're sitting in the airport and you got nothing to do, are you gonna talk with this guy? You know what I mean? So are you gonna be interesting enough and friendly enough and warm enough to like actually have a chat with? If you pass all these things, because more often than not, that's really all you have to be to get any job. You just got to be an interesting person that has character, that has initiative, that is responsible. That's all you have to be to get any job. If you can show these qualities from the get go, you're going to be a good employee. You're going to stand out to employers and you're going to have a good time working at any job. So, bring it all together. We've talked about many skills. What do you do on your CV? So, basically, 10% of your CV is your education. And I really push this out there. 10% of your CV should be just your education, very brief what you did, what special what modules you did, what you specialize in, how did you excel in them, how long you studied there, and the rest of your CV is other skills and experiences. What club did you join? What did you learn in this club? What sporting activity did you sporting club were you in? Did you have a role there? What did you do there? What internship did you do? What part-time work did you do? Did you win any awards? As you can see, like what languages did they study? What sport do they play? What technology are you good at? All so important. Just split it up. But most of your CV should basically be showcasing that you've done all these other things besides just study. And that's what companies are going to look at, right? Because that's how you stand out. That's what differentiates you from other candidates. Most Malaysian students end up doing a degree to some extent, you know, or diploma, but they have, after high school, they have qualifications that are more than SPM. So to stand out, it's these other skills, right? It's to show them that you're just more than your degree, you're more than your diploma, you're more than whatever you studied. You're an interesting person, and you're deep, and you've done all these things, and you care about all the other things. Because if you care about other things, you can care about a job, and that's really the simple fact of it at the end of the day. So what's the timeline? You're in a final year of university, start your graduate job in January, for example, next year. Let's kind of work backwards, I guess. So graduation applications close in March. This is for Australia. So in Malaysia, I'd say they actually close a little later, depending on when you want to get a job. But the earlier you start, the better, right? Summer internships are November and January. Summer internship applications close in July. You have your strong CV done in June, but basically around this time, third year. And the critical period for laying foundations, basically joining your sporting teams, etc., all is in second year. Now, look, if you didn't do any of these things in second and first year, don't worry. Go and do it now. Go and do whatever you can to whatever capacity now as a third year student, or don't do it at all. Wait until you're done with your exams. That's really important as well. And then go and do something on your own and show that you have the experience. Like I said, it doesn't have to be in university, it can be outside of university, it can be anything. Even if you try inside a company and you fail, that's work experience. That is a relevant skill. That's something you've done. It shows that you have initiative. So don't let anything stop you. Don't let the fear of failing stop you. Just go for it, and try and get these things done. Basically by June, July, so you have a amount of time to start applying for jobs and stuff. If you don't, it's okay. Take your time, get it all together. Make sure you're comfortable with your CV and push. Right at the end of the day, when it comes to application, looking for a first job, it's numbers. Don't just apply for 3 jobs and then wait. Apply for like 300 jobs. You know what I mean? Apply for as many jobs as you can, as many jobs as you feel like it. And I'll show you how to do that on Prosple. And yeah, like don't let it stop you. Apply for internships if you're in first year, second year. Apply for jobs if you're in third year and you're looking to like branch out. Get a job. And don't let it stop you. It's all about quantity when it comes to these things, especially your first job. Just put yourself out there. any job you get at the end of the day, even if you go for an interview and don't get the job, it's great because you have experience in interviews. You're going to be more prepared for your next interview. You're going to be less scared for your next interview, and that's really important as well. So last but not least, just to cover these things really quickly, how do you get your foot in the door? How do graduates find their first employers? This is essentially the breakdown. So networking can give you a serious advantage, but obviously you have your university career center. You have job advertisements, others. So this can really just be from anywhere, be word of mouth, whatever. But most of it's networking. And when I mean networking, how exactly do you network to get your first job? Directly, I approach employers. They're literally employers I've approached for, become friends with through the interview process, not gotten the job, but we've been friends afterwards, and they've recommended me to other jobs, etc. Just because we became friends through the interview process. So don't let anything stop you. Just apply, just talk, be friendly, and make friends. Any friend is a good asset. Anyone that's willing to basically just give you a heads up is, trust me, especially out there in the job market, it's a huge asset. Family and friends, talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to your uncles, your aunties, your cousins. See what they're saying because I'm sure they are much older. They are working. See what their insights like, and if they're not, it's okay. Go and talk to your teachers. Go and talk to your teachers' friends, etc. Go and make friends on LinkedIn. Uh, you know, work context. So if you work at Starbucks, you have a part-time job, speak to your colleagues, see what they have to say. They may know people, they may be willing to get you in contact with other people as well. So again, just never be afraid, I guess. That's the main thing I can tell you guys. College faculties and lecturers, like I was saying just now, go talk to your lecturers, go talk to your faculty members, go talk, even if they don't teach you, go up and approach them. Every lecturer, every faculty member is more than willing to talk to a student. They want to help you guys. Just don't be afraid and ask for that help. Career fairs and information sessions. So, ta-da, like what you're at today. And Prosper has career fairs, so definitely invite you guys for that as well. I'm very sure your career center is also having a career fair that's coming up. So make sure you guys go for that as well. Just get yourself out there, put yourself in front of the most amount of eyeballs as you can. What strategies can you use to network? Again, attend the career fairs. Don't just know that they're happening. Ask for introductions. So we kind of covered all this, right? Use LinkedIn, really important. Add friends on LinkedIn. Go join groups on LinkedIn. Have discussions. Have meaningful discussions. Go see what you're interested in. Join those groups on LinkedIn, and it's a great way to expand your network. It's really amazing. Trust me. Cold calling, cold email. I've seen this happen. There are lots of people that literally just cold email uh, hiring managers, not to ask for a job or whatever, but just to become friends with them, to ask for insight. And a lot of the time, these people want to help you. So don't be afraid to send the email out. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's the most important thing. Walk in, and this happens as well. Literally, just walk in. Maybe you don't get to who you want to talk to, but you probably end up talking to someone. And again, any information is golden at this point, right? And the organic way to build your network is, again, take on a leadership role in a sort of society or sporting team, work at a part-time job, contribute to your societies. These are all like organic ways. But look, even if it's all past your time and you can't do these things, never sweat it, right? There's always time to do these things. You're still extremely young. You still have the whole world is your oyster. So just do whatever comes your way. Grab every opportunity as it comes. And even if you're done with university, all these things, joining a leadership role, joining a society, joining a sporting team, they exist outside of university as well. There are tons of sporting teams that exist outside of university that you can join and play casually any sport. There are tons of societies, like Toastmasters, etc., that you can join outside of university when you're done with university. So these opportunities are never gone from you. You just got to look for them, and they're all there. Trust me. So thinking outside the box, of course. So 80% of applications are submitted to 2% of employers. In fact, most of the applications end up at the big employers, and the long of all the SMEs exist, and they aren't getting the applications. So if you just take time to look for these employers, uh, you're gonna have a better shot. Because like I said, right, the more niche it is, the smaller the employees, they're probably getting less applications, so you have a better shot of getting a job there. And getting a job that you want, because just because they're small, that doesn't mean that you're not making money, etc. Right? To exist as an organization, you got to be doing something right. So don't let the fact that it's not a big name or whatever stop you from applying. Go for it. As long as you think that you can work there, we went to the little circle in the beginning. As long as you think you can work there, as long as you think you can do well, by all means, do it. And what you might want to consider, why you should be considering a small employer. You're thinking like, oh no, I need to work at Petronas or etc. Look, it's always any job is good, but just think about this, right? Large employees, group training is pretty generic as well, and it's very slow paced. Trust me, I know that for a fact. But smaller employees usually one on one is very tailored to what you need, and it's very fast paced. Like you basically 2 3 days of training max, and then you're on the job, you're doing your thing, and the best to learn is just jumping in head first. Career progression, yeah, it's structured, at large companies, and it's very hierarchical and it's very rigid. You know, there's very specific policies that you have to follow in order to get it there, to get to where you need to go. But at a smaller company, it doesn't matter what your age, it doesn't matter how long you've been there. If you're performing, you're gonna get the promotion because they need good people. Like what Naj was saying, right? If you are Companies need people, it doesn't matter how great your product is. If you look at a company like Nokia, they had the whole world, everyone was using their phone, right? But clearly everyone there got complacent and they ended up dying off. So, just look at thinking about how important that is for you. Do you want the slow hierarchical progression, or do you want the fast paced, oh, I'm doing well, I can get, more pay, I can get a better job, I can get a better position. It's going to look great on your CV as well. You know, Exposure. So at large companies, you get exposed to large projects, but that's really not the case. It's pretty limited depending your department, depending where you are, depending how long you've been there. It's usually hierarchical. You get the exposure the longer you've been there. But at a smaller employer, you're gonna get exposed whether you like it or not, and it's 360-degree view of the company. You probably have to do things that are outside of the box, that are outside of your job description, that are outside of your role. But it's direct exposure to senior leadership. It's direct exposure to big product projects. It's direct exposure to the whole shebang of the company, and that's really sort of, again, if you're looking for a first job that's going to give you the most on your CV, is probably a smaller company that's going to give you the upper hand in terms of, like, if you work at a big company for 1 year, you work at a small company for 1 year. At the end, the guy who worked at a smaller company, his CV is going to look massive. You know what I mean? So the summary is: in a big company, you're essentially a small cog in a big machine, but in a small company, you're thrown in the deep end. And yes, this could be scary, but get your bearings a bit, ask for help. Always never be afraid to ask for help, because it's never shameful to need help. It's just part of the process, it's part of being human. And anyone can get out of the deep end, and you can learn to swim, and you can be successful. So how do you find smaller employers? Again, you can use your network, you can use LinkedIn, you can use something like Prosple. You can search Google Map locations, like literally just put in civil engineering, electronical engineering, see what comes out. Usually within the proximity of wherever you are, you can see whoever, you can change your location. These are all really good ways of finding smaller employers. On LinkedIn, you can even, search specifically like 11 employers, 11 employees, 10 employees, and it's going to give you just those companies. And yeah, just look for non-traditional careers, right? So many jobs are degree agnostic. Like, you don't have to use a specific, you don't have to do a specific degree to work in a specific job. And I'll show you how to use Prosple specifically to do this kind of search. And you can find jobs that are outside of, even though you did this, but it's outside of your specialization, that want you to work there, that want you to apply. You just got to know about it. And yeah, what can you do right now to give you the upper hand? Think deeply about the type of career you want. We kind of covered all this, so I'll breeze through it really quickly. Take the time to think deeply about the career you want. Think about what you want to pursue. Make an effort to talk to your friends and family, you know, to your lecturers, etc. Because now's the time. Do a personality test. Again, like, it's hard to have these conversations with yourself without anything on paper, I guess. So do the personality test, see what it says about you, and then it's going to be a real good platform to talk about this with yourself or with your friends. Get involved in extracurricular activities. If you're in first year or second year, even if you're in third year, go and do something. Like, come on, like, there's nothing that's stopping you, and trust me, you'll have a great time. I've never regretted joining a extracurricular activity, but of course, I know that I like doing it. Like, do I like playing rugby and whatever? Just go and join. You will have a good time, or at the least you learn something about yourself. Craft your CV. um there's a writing guide here. Again, I'll put all these links for you guys in a, oh no. Yeah, I'll put all these links for you in the chat box later, so you guys can look through it. Oh, yeah, you guys can look through it. CV templates available here. I'll put in the chat box as well. Make use of your university careers team. Go and ask them for advice on your CV. Ask them if it's good. Ask them if they like it. Ask them for your tips because they are there to help you guys. You just gotta go and ask for the help. Make a LinkedIn profile. Trust me about this. A lot of university people only end up making LinkedIn profiles very late after graduation or even after they get their first job. Make a LinkedIn profile right now. Today after this, go and make a LinkedIn profile and it's gonna help you. You can see talks around you, you can go for events, all these things are happening, you can network, you can look for companies, so good. And apply for internships if you have the chance, right? There's no regret. It's an opportunity to basically try before you buy. You know, you get an internship at a company before you work at a job there. And a lot of internships, the way internships are structured in Malaysia, especially, there's that pipeline of working the internship and then getting the job offer. So that could work for you and it'd be great. Um, and before I move into questions, actually, I kind of want to show you guys the UniMap Prosper page. So basically, how you can look for these jobs, everything that I was talking about. So I'll throw up the link right here. So I don't know if you guys know about this yet or not, but you guys have a Prosper page that's built specifically for UniMap students. So we work with UniMap. They are one of our partners. We've made a page for them with all our job resources, all our advice articles, all our um, job opportunities, and it's all here for them. And basically, it's really simple. So you go to unimap.prosple.com. Let me just put this in the chat for you guys. So you go to unimap.prosple.com and looking for a job is extremely easy. So remember how I said how jobs are, job agnostic? That's really what we're going for here. So any company that posts a job on Prosper, we make them tell us what degrees they're looking for and what degrees can apply for the job. It's not like a graduates have to find out what's happening kind of thing. So you just tell me what you're looking for. Are you looking for an internship? Are you looking for a part-time job? Are you looking for a graduate job? And then you just tell me what you're studying, right? I know you guys are engineers, and and so engineering and mathematics, and then you just click search. That's all you guys got to do. And then you can be very specific. Like what type of engineering do you want? What kind of jobs are there? Or you can go show me more, and you can see like these are all the jobs that you can do engineering and you can apply for anyway. These changes every day. These numbers change every day. We got more jobs on here for you. We have less, um, not just more jobs from different industries, but jobs from other countries as well. um, and that's something possible gives you the opportunity to apply for. You don't just have to apply for jobs in Malaysia. You can apply for jobs everywhere. You click show more. You can see all the countries that are available to you, and it's very easy, right? You can make an account. That's gonna help. If you make an account, we will send you guys a blast every week with jobs that we think are good for you. So if you're lazy to kind of do the searching, we can do that for you. And making an account is very easy. You literally just, I guess I'll just do that now. You just, yeah, you put in you can sign in with your Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, or you can click sign up. And all you have to do is give me your first name, last name, email, and password. That's all you got to do. And bam, you have an account. There's no verification or etc. You can straight away jump into it. Um, but like I said, even if you don't make an account, that's no worries at all. You can apply for the jobs already, and that's really the most important thing. I want you to be able to find jobs and find jobs quickly. You can apply for as many jobs as you want, so go for it. Like I said, it's all about quantity when you're applying for these jobs. So just hit hit first, dive in, apply for anything that seems that it's interesting to you guys. And yeah, as you can see, you can do engineering match, you can apply for this. You can do engineering match, you can apply to be a freelance translator, to work at quality assurance in Nestle, to be a healthcare graduate program at Ramsey. All these things are available to you, and it's there, easy. We make it quick for you guys. The applications are pretty, they're not too long as well. Once you do one, everything else is kind of the same. So you just save the information and just copy paste later. That's what I used to do. But yeah, that's the process. That's the website down there. Please do check it out. Like I said, we'll keep throwing in the jobs for you guys. But now that it's all done, that's essentially all I have to say. I'm sure I've talked a lot. and I hope you guys have understood most of it. But yeah, do you have any questions? We'll have a 10-minute, 15 minutes question session, and then I can let you guys go. You can have the rest of your day. But yeah, any questions? Is that is that awkward silence between waiting for questions and answering them? But again, it can be questions about anything I talked about. It can be questions about Prosple. It can be questions not about Prosple or anything that I talked about. Just anything that's on your mind about jobs. If you just want to know about it, just you ask away. All good. I guess it was pretty straightforward. You guys have any questions about Prosple, about the platform? Anything you want to know specifically? Anything about the CVs that I talked about? Anything about the skills that I talked about? Let me just get the CV guide for you guys. Oh, Rahana has a question. Let me just put that up there. So I've been wondering, is it necessary for us to put our CGPA in our resume? I would say it's really dependent. Um, if and it's really personal, right? The general answer to this is no. It's not a necessity. It's not required. But if you have done extremely well at university and it's something you want to talk about, put it there because they're gonna ask you about it. If you're not if you're not so comfortable sharing, maybe you thought you're gonna do really well and you just did slightly below your expectations and you don't want to put it, don't put it. They're still gonna ask you about it, so you're still gonna have to answer the question. But yeah, it's really personal preference. At the end of the day, like I said, the skills and your experiences are so important. That's really what they're gonna be looking at. That's what they hone on in. But what they really and that's what they really care about. You don't feel pressured like put your CGPA in if you don't want to. But if you want to, by all means, go for it. Question right now, thank you for asking. Uh, all good. Like I said just now, if you guys want to go back and re-listen to anything that I said, it will be on the Prosper YouTube page. This whole talk will be there, so you can scrub through it. You can see, go specifically to a specific time I was talking about something, be it when I was talking about skills or the CV, or even just showing you guys how to use Prosper. It's all there. So resources are there if you need it. Oh, he has a question. Should you consider furthering your studies after degree? Now, that's a very personal thing that you're gonna have to introspect and think about for yourself. I personally, when I was done with my degree, I was done. I did not want to continue studying. I was like, it's time to move on. But I have some friends that really want to do their masters, and it does give you a slight upper hand when you're applying for jobs. But getting relevant experience and developing those skills, I would personally say is more important than furthering your studies. Uh, but if it's something that you want to do, if you think it's going to give you an upper hand in your field, do the research and go for it. Like it should. At the end of the day, this is a personal preference. So there's no advantage or disadvantage. Well, I say there's no disadvantage actually, but there's no like outright advantage either. So if you think that you're passionate about studying, go for it. I have some friends that did their PhD before they even work the job, and that's fine as well because you're passionate about academia, you're passionate about studying, you're passionate about the subject. Um, so go for it. But yeah, it's not a requirement. Should you consider it? If you want to, that's the only question that has to be answered. Tan said hi. Hi. The question. We'll give it another 3 minutes, and then at 10:40, I'll hand it over to Miss Warda, and she can wrap it up for you guys. The link for the UniMap Prosple portal is down here. It's the thing that's been moving. So please please go explore, go check it out. You got three questions come in, so I'll just answer it uh, periodically. Nuhimsa, I hope I pronounced that correctly. What is your opinion about job hopping experience included in resume? Is it good or a bad thing to do? Now, I think it's good to show that you've worked in different jobs and you've done different things, regardless for how long. But then there's always a reason that you left the job, when you had to hop, etc. But if you can show and you have a good reason for leaving, that's all you need. Be it the culture didn't fit with you, be it you didn't find working there very fulfilling. Um, you know, go for it. Put it in your CV. I think it's good. Or even my CV, there's some job hopping, you can see it. So don't be afraid to show it. You just have to be able to justify it. That's really the most important thing there. If you can justify it, you can put anything you want on your CV. Um, so that again, you just have that conversation with yourself. You just got to get your bearings right. You got to see what the explanation is for X thing. But yeah, I think it's not a bad thing at all. I think it's good. I think it shows that you know what you want. And that's really important as well. It shows that you can't be pushed around. Knows that you're not going to do something for the sake of doing it. And you're going to be somewhere because it means something to you. So I definitely think it's a bonus. Thanks for the question. Um, Tan, your question. You prefer working after degree life or further study, or any suggestions? I was kind of about just working, just jumping headfirst, seeing what it's like. And it's different. It's a different life, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the working life is amazing. I definitely sit down like an old man and talk to my friends about, oh yeah, remember university, remember all these things we used to do, and it was a fun time. I think university is a special time. You will never get another time like it in your life again. It's really a great time. So make sure you maximize it. Do all the things that you want to do with your friends. It's because it's not just the time; it's really just having all the free time together. That's really the magic of university. What do I prefer? I guess if you get it, like generally, I actually do kind of prefer working. I, obviously get a great the first job I landed. I got more jobs. I knew what I wanted more, and I found a job that fits the things that I needed to fit, that I'm passionate about, that gives me the time to, have a personal life and, pursue my hobbies, that, pays me a decent amount, that gives me the avenue to, progress, etc. I found that job, over time through preferences, through the process, etc. And now I'd say I love it because I have all the time to do what I want to do, and I have the autonomy as an adult, as a working adult, to go and do whatever I want to do as well. So, as long as you're on top of your work, you know, you can do whatever you want. So I guess personally, I prefer my working life, but that's now. When I started off, I probably wouldn't have said that. But you're gonna have to go through the process, see what you want, and that's why Prosper's here to help you guys. Basically, like get to this point, like from the beginning. So use the website, see the resources that are available. We're very detailed with all the company profiles, all the job descriptions. We really try and make it as detailed and easy for you guys to understand. So make sure you go on and you look for your jobs and internships there. And if you have any questions, just ask Mr. Nudge, ask Miss Warda. I'm sure they are more than willing to help you. But yeah, like use the resources at hand and find something that actually fits your preferences because that's the main thing that's going to help you excel. Thanks for the question. Uh, I guess this will be the last question unless you guys have more. But Nuradli asked, some people maybe not so great with their communication. Is there any skill that we can focus on other than communication to stand out? I would personally say that there's no such thing as someone that's not good at communication. There's just someone that hasn't had the opportunity to exercise and develop those skills. So I used to be a debate trainer as well, and I used to train kids that literally couldn't speak in front of people, and they have become like some of the best debaters. You just need to give yourself the chance to develop the skill. You just need to put yourself in the situation where you can develop the skill, and don't be afraid about making mistakes. Don't be afraid about not being the best. Don't be afraid about not knowing and or embarrassing yourself. Just go for it because if you're in the right environment with the right people, they're going to help you develop those skills. They're going to help you excel in it. They're going to help you develop those skills. So that's the first piece of advice I got to give you is go put yourself in the situations. Go find the public speaking club. Go join Toastmasters. Go join anything. Speak more to your friends like loudly and maybe in English or BM or whatever. Just be out there and be confident. Don't be afraid. But you know if you feel like, oh, you want to focus on other skills, I will still tell you to focus on communication. I still think it's a very important skill that you should develop. It really just will give you the the kind of advantage that you really don't know what kind of advantage it give you. That's really what I want to say. So don't underplay it. Really go and find the ability to do it. And look, you don't have to be able to speak in front of 10,000 people. Even if you can present your ideas to like 3 people or 5 people clearly and confidently, that's good communication skill already. So just be confident about it. Don't ever tell yourself that you can't do it. Don't ever tell yourself you're not good at it because you're already giving yourself a disadvantage there. But things like teamwork, things like interpersonal skills, being a good colleague, being able to work in a team, being a good team player, that's really important skills as well. And showing that you have that skill is also really important. So develop communication. Don't think that you can just like downplay it. Go and find a way to develop it. But yeah, just showing that you're a good colleague, showing you're a team player, that you work well in teams, that you're a good leader, that you can handle yourself well in the office, etc. That's also really important. So you're looking for other skills that's there as well. And like I said, make sure that you have commercial awareness. Make sure you know what company you're applying for. That's all going to make you stand out in any interview that you're going for. But again, go and develop those communication skills. Go put yourself in a situation that helps you develop those communication skills. Don't shy away from it. But yeah, if anyone, I'll give another like 1 minute. But yeah, if there's no other questions, I guess we can kind of end it there. Oh, that's a good question, Naj. So just for your information, you can apply for as many jobs as you want on the Prosper platform. You can apply to all the companies that are there on the Prosper platform. So let me just bring that up again for you guys. Um, there's no limit. There's no, there's nothing that will stop you guys from applying, unless it explicitly says there, some specific thing that says you can only apply for a very specific thing. Then don't. So obviously read the job description. That's the first thing. But you guys can apply for as many jobs as you want, even if it's not, you know, engineering specific. You can still apply for it. Like I was applying for jobs that were way out of economics when I was looking for a first job. Like I didn't even care. I was just like, I want to work for this. I think I have the skills to work for this. And that's why developing those skills, right? The ones we talked about is so important because if you have all those skills, you can pretty much work any job already. I mean, obviously you can't become a doctor, but you can work any job that you want. But yeah, so like don't let it stop you. Apply for as many jobs as you want. Some of them are closing quickly, so you want to get in your CV quick. But yeah, just go for it. Industry Explorer. This is PwC's graduate program. You can be an engineer. You can go and become an associate. This is consultancy. I know that much for insurance actually. But that's consultancy. Yeah, you can go work at Shopee. You can go become a management associate at Top Glove. Apply away. There's no limit. There's nothing that's stopping you from applying for like 1,000 jobs. If you want to apply to every job on Prosper, apply. We're not going to stop you from doing that. But yeah, use the tools to your advantage. This is built specifically for UniMap students. It's built specifically for graduates. If you go to specific companies, like if you go to Ramsey, for example, you can click the JD. You can see this is what it's like. You can see, companies. We have reviews in the live stories. Reviews are really great. As a graduate, I wish I had this because this is literally 102 graduates that are currently working in Ramsey. They're giving you reviews and telling you what it's like to work there. What are the pros? What are the cons? And we break it down, right? What's the career prospects like? What's the culture like? Are these people satisfied working the job? What's the salary like? Do you get trained well? What's the working hours? We try and give you guys all this insight, and you can go day in the life stories. If we've managed to interview the students there directly, it'll even show us like what it's like to work there. You get a little breakdown of the day to day. So it's good for you guys. It gives you guys the context. It helps you apply with more confidence, so you know what you're doing. And yeah, we try to do this with every company that we that is on Prosper. So explore it, apply for anything that piques your interest. If you think it's interesting, send the application. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Like I said, there's no limit. So if you want to apply for 15 or 20 jobs, go for it. If you want to apply for 100 jobs, go for it. There's nothing that's going to stop you. But yeah, I think that's a great question. Thank you for asking that, Nudge. Um, I am pretty much done. I'm good. So if you guys wanna, I don't think any questions. If you guys have any questions, do find me on LinkedIn, Tarmendra Wemel. I'll type it on the chat and send me a message there. I'll try my best to answer you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really hope you guys pick something up from this interview. I hope you guys get to use the Possible platform to your advantage. I wish I had something like this when I was applying for jobs. I didn't. I had to use all the old stuff, so it's kind of tailored to general job seekers. This is tailored just for graduates, so it gives you the information that you need specifically. So that's that. Just give me a second. Hi, Naj.
Hello, I'm back.
Wonderful. Let me get your poster up. There we go.
Can you zoom in a bit on the poster, please, Tarma? Is it possible?
I can try. No, because it's vertical, this is as much as it will zoom in.
Okay.
But if you give me the link, I can post in the chat box for them.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me hold on for a while.
No worries. All right. So I've just posted the link for the banner on the e-portfolio thing that not to talk to you about. I think it's a great survey. When he talked to me about it, I was pretty blown away. So yeah, take it away, Nudge.
Okay. To all students, I think Tarma did mention also that in Prosple, not only in Prosple actually, Prosple is like a directory for jobs online. You need to look at the jobs through online, and it's a I would call it career uh, um, directory. There are also other career directories that's out there. Yeah, you heard probably on like Job Street example, and others. Even now, I think locally by our Perkeso is called My Future Jobs. There are also career directory there. There's so many out there, but there is also usually when you are filling in the information in those directories, they will request for the students to upload their resume or your CV, right? So in UniMap, there's another initiative that we have put in to assist the students to put up your CV. So in a way, it's like generating and auto generate of your CV. So the platform is called e-portfolio. So if you go to the posters, I'll be on through the link using the link. Is it this poster? Just click on the link, then you can see it. See it, and what it does is that it gives you step by step how once you log into to the platform, you need to log in. Okay, then you need you need to click when you log in. You need to insert your username and password, and if not, you need to and the and then you need to go to the student page and fill in or update your resume, right? And then you need to update some of the details, not all, some of the details, and then you need to also select the criteria for the job. Okay, whether it's in which area or which industry, whether it's communication, construction, healthcare, etc. And then you can actually auto generate that resume for you. So this is what you need to explore this. Okay, I think this is a wonderful platform. This is done in house, is homegrown by UniMap Data Center. With the help of our unit, we say that some of the students maybe they want they need to have some auto generated CV. Then you can actually go to this platform e-portfolio. I'm not gonna run through the process. I want you to explore for yourself to the students, and you will know how. Then only once you generate your CV, then you will see. Oh, these are the information because some of the information is pulled from the UniMap system itself, right? Information like what are the pillars that you have gone through. Probably you don't remember because all the 7 pillars that is required for you to graduate. You have done that in your first semester or third semester, second semester. That was like 2 3 years ago. Probably you don't remember. So this platform can actually pull back that information. What are the extracurricular activity that you have been through? Probably you have done some volunteer jobs here and there that is registered under our HEPA, our Pelajar Student Affairs. Then this information is, if it's ever available in UniMap system, it will pull and put under your extracurricular activities. And this is also important because sometimes when you look at just academic transcript, it doesn't, it will not just portray your academic achievement, but the company would also like to see what are the other activities, whether you're actively involved during your years in the university, whether it's towards sports, for example, or whether you are doing a lot of volunteering job, for example. So these things actually will add on to your resume and add on to who you are, to understand who you are. Because you see, in a process, a HR process in a company, I mentioned earlier, right? For the company, they want the right people. They want, they have some expectation of, the people, because the company itself will build on the people, right? I mentioned earlier in my introduction just now, what makes a company great is the staff. The employee itself will actually bring up. People will, example, people talk about Tesla, then the first name that will come is the founder himself, Elon Musk, right? So Elon Musk is the one that is, penggerak lah, or the catalyst for Tesla. He's the founder, and he makes sure that, because he's the people, right? Same goes with when you talk about Facebook, then you talk about Mark Zuckerberg, and so on. So it's the people. So again, like I said, in your CV, you need to highlight yourself, you need to market yourself, and Prospel is there to, link you with all the companies out there. And then you need to have a resume to actually introduce yourself, and e-portfolio will definitely will help you to do that. And like I said, the process, when the HR look at this, your application, they will filter before they call for an interview, right? So what is it that they're looking for? So that is why resume is important, and that is why the information that you put in the, like for example, Prospel, this career directory, is important, because it will help you to identify Hello? We got
Hello,
cut off,
Raj.
is it?
I think you cut off. Yeah, you got cut off.
Okay. So the company will filter, and during that filtering process, that's why they want to see your resume and so on. So they will know that, before they call you for an interview, that they got, in a way, the right candidate that they want. So that's all. So you have Prosper, you have ePortfolio, and I think that wraps up our session. It's almost 2 hours online. And again, I would like to thank Tarma, Prosper, for your time and for your sharing with our students. A real case, I think, of yourself. What is it that the industry were looking at our students. And again, thank you again to all our students for your ears, and for lending your time and using this slot. Again, thank you to FYP committee for giving us this opportunity to interact with the students, the final year students. And I wish you all the best and success in your upcoming final exam in these few months, and also success in your getting a career once you when you graduate. So with that, I think, Tarma, we wrap up this session.
All right, lovely. It's been great talking to you guys. We're answering your questions. By all means, come look for us. We'll try and answer your questions. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Bye.